Hey guys, it's Justin once again, and coming to you on a little Wednesday afternoon. I finally have my review of the Brian Wilson concert. It was on Sunday, the 23rd of April, at the Murat in Indy, and I had a wonderful time. First time I'd seen any of the Beach Boys in, I guess it's been a couple years. I guess I saw Mike and Bruce here in Bloomington 2 years ago, and I saw Brian, Dave, and Al in Ohio. So anyway, it was a welcome experience, and I had a great time. The tickets were for a Christmas present, and it was Pet Sounds Live, of course, which is what Brian is continuing to do. And I just like to start out saying I was up in the balcony seats there at the Murat. They weren't the greatest seats, but it was a lot of fun up there, even if I wasn't up front. I did take some videos. If you're subscribed to me, you'd see that I did Feel Flows, Wake the World, Here Today, and I'm Waiting for the Day. And hopefully, I know it wasn't very good visually because I was so far up and it's hard to zoom in. And when you zoom in, you lose all that quality. And hopefully just the sound was good. Here Today and I'm Waiting for the Day are two of my favorites from Pet Sounds, especially performed live. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to try not to say too much. I'm really trying to be conscious of that. So before I move on, I just did it. Sorry. As I move on, I'd like to throw out a couple of things. There's Radio JJ, I believe. James Crowther. And they're doing some live radio shows with some great bootlegs and rare recordings of the Beach Boys. They've tagged me in some on Facebook. There's a good Facebook group. I've not listened to it personally because you have to listen to it live, and there's times where I'm just not ready. I didn't realize you had to listen to it live, so it is a radio show, so I'd like to throw that out there. There's a group on Facebook, not sure about anywhere else. And I'd also like to call out Alan Cumming. Yes, I'm not doing this shirtless. It is not a good day to do that. I don't know when that day will come. So sorry to crush your dreams of me doing this shirtless. Sorry. Moving on to the set list. I didn't have it all written down, but I can go from memory. It started out with everybody coming out, and this was when Matt Jardine was not able to do falsetto. I believe he was coming back Tuesday last night to join the tour. He had a family emergency. Temporarily for about a week, they've had Casey McDonough. Am I saying that right? McDonald or McDonough? I'm probably botching that. He's in the... Wow, I'm really going to botch this because I wish I would have wrote this down. He's in a couple of bands, and I think one's called NRQ. I'm sure I really screwed that up. I should have written it down. I'm sorry. He did falsetto. Did a great job. For having to be a sub to fill in, I appreciated what he brought to the show. The Indie Star review of the concert said that it was their secret weapon. I'm not really sure if that was the band's secret weapon, but it was still a highlight of the show. I'm not sure where I rank him with Jeffrey Foskett and Matt Jardine as far as falsetto goes, but he was really good. He sang a lot like the lead on Surfer Girl. Brian did the bridge, of course. Sang most of You Still Believe in Me. A lot of the higher parts on Pet Sounds, Wouldn't It Be Nice. It was quite a performance. I will say it's a little distracting, Brian's interpretations, as he's kind of saying the lyrics and not singing them as much. But if that's what he can do as an artist, if that's how he can present it now, at the age of 74, then that's okay. I'll accept it. I want to say it's distracting just as a opinion of mine, as a review, because if I said everything was positive, I wouldn't be being honest with you, and I'd rather be honest with you about that. There's what was I going with? Oh, Brian has also not really done the hand sign things in a long time. I mean, he barely did any of it at that show. So it's almost like if you're distracted by those, then you're really going to be distracted by the vocals. And you can tell on some of the videos I've done and others that it's kind of distracting, but it's okay. There's... they started out with River Deep Mountain High, and they only did like 30 seconds of it. I had such a hard time figuring out what it was. When I go to these things, I'm just expecting Beach Boys, Beach Boys, Beach Boys, unless they announce it's going to be, a different cover. And I was so confused. I was like, oh, is this the girl from New York City or something? And, I was way off. So I wish they would have performed the whole thing. That would have been cool. Blondie came out and sang part of it. It was kind of a cool warm-up. Then they went into California Girls. They did Help Me Rhonda, Little Honda, Little Dude's Coupe, and Shut Down. They did do an awesome part where I got Wake the World. It was a really good rendition of it. And then they went in to add some music to your day. They did Do It Again. Thinking in my head, they really just did almost like a song from each album. Like, as far as like the late Capitol stuff, they did Wild Honey and Darlin'. Darlin' was sung by Casey. Blondie did Wild Honey. It was kind of, that more hard rock version, and that's alright. I'm not a huge fan of the guitar solos and whatnot, but I like seeing Blondie in concert. It's cool. He seemed to be all over the place and having fun, so that's what's important. They did from Friends. They did Wake the World, 2020, Do It Again, Sunflower, Add Some Music to Your Day. It was kind of like a medley with Wake the World. It was a really good transition. It was awesome. They also did Feel Flows, of course, from Surf's Up. It was great. I love the flute part that Paul Von Mertens brings to it. The guitar solo, of course, I filmed part of that. And they did a couple more others before Brian went out. And, I mean, the set was done. He kind of got up in the middle or at the end of something ending, and a song ending, and I thought at first, I was like, oh no, is he leaving during the middle of a, song? But no, it was the first set list, and then they did Pat Sounds. Over the loudspeakers before the show, they did I don't know if I'll say this right, Holly Ridge or Holy Ridge. I would think it's Holly because it's LL. Holly Ridge Strings tribute to the Beach Boys. And it was fun hearing that. It wasn't too hard to hear because it was such high strings, like loud. At the end of the concert, I heard them start playing Beach Baby by First Class. I didn't hear anything else after that. During the intermission, they did the Holly Ridge Strings as well. Then they did Pat Sounds. Of course, Billy Hinsche and Gary Griffin were there. It was great to see. They did band introductions. They introduced Gary as to him being seen on Woodstock in footage, which is really cool. Then for the band introductions, it was kind of neat how they did a song for each one coming out. They would add more to it. Like for Nelson, they did Don't Fear the Reaper with the cowbell and everything. He would reference that a couple times, it was funny. They did Thank You by Sly Stone, and Blondie came out to that, and he sang part of it. Dude, that was rocking. It was so good. That would be an awesome cover, actually. Al was in great voice. He carried, I Know There's an Answer part of the time, played banjo on it. I will point out Casey, during Let's Go Away for a while, got on